Aloha, everybody, and welcome to What Medicine Doesn't Teach About Money. This is our webinar on achieving financial resilience for medical professionals. So, if you are in the medical field, you can be a nurse, a physician, anybody who is working in the ER. This is for you. Today, we're going to talk about different challenges that people in the medical field face that other people might not, like heavy student debt and delayed wealth accumulation. And we're going to introduce you to some strategies to build lasting wealth through strategic investing with Rhetorical Capital. So today, the presenters are me and my lovely partner, Harmony. My name is Zasha Smith. And for those who don't know me, I was a civil engineer for 10 years, grew up on the island of Maui, still here to this day, and just transitioned into real estate investing in 2019, full-time in 2020, because I just felt like engineering wasn't my passion anymore and wanted to pursue something that would build lasting wealth, especially here in the islands, because it's so expensive to live here. So I started investing in real estate. I started fixing and flipping. And to this day, I've done about 36 fix and flips. I am closing out my last one and moving fully into more passive real estate investing because I want to buy back my time and have more freedom. And so for me, it's important that other people know that this is an option. I didn't know that I didn't have to quit my job in order to start investing into real estate or even monitor my retirement funds to know that I could leverage that to invest into real estate. These are things that I wish I would have known sooner. And to this day, once I met Harmony and Chris, we ended up partnering and investing into, I think, over $100 million in assets of bigger apartment buildings, storage facilities, and started this Rhetorical Capital Investment Fund together alongside a few of our partners. So I'm excited to share with you guys how you can benefit from investing with us today.
Yes, thank you. So I'm Harmony Borden. I'm a real estate investor, capital raiser. But first, I'm a wife, a mother of three, and a Mimi of my adorable grandson. So for nearly a decade, I was in the healthcare industry, started to go to nursing school, and then was offered a career working contracted with the military where I did casework, worked with service members and their families for over 13 years. It was a great eye opener, and I got to see, every day how hard people really worked for their money, and that was never a secret, especially in Hawaii. You work really hard. A few years ago, my husband and I decided to make the big move from Maui to Utah, and we stepped into real estate. And honestly, some of it was on accident and some of it was on purpose, but real quickly, we transformed so quickly. Like, we started off and within 7 months hit our 3-year goal. And now our goals are to be able to continue to build the freedom and the life that we want and the lifestyle. Really big into philanthropy. I am the vice president of Elevate Cote d'Ivoire, a nonprofit that I hold near and dear to my heart. We focus on job creation, education, building a sustainable economic opportunities across Africa, West Africa primarily, but we do have some team members across like 4 other countries in Africa. So for me, it isn't about just building and growing wealth. It's about making an impact that's huge for us. And coming into real estate, man, I wish I would have understood investing, understood my retirement plans, understood all of this way sooner. But thank goodness we've learned it now so we can pass it on to our kids.
So thank you guys for joining us today. If you do guys have any questions, please put them in the chat as well, as we'll be monitoring them and having a live Q&A at the end. So full disclosure and disclaimer here, which is standard, we're not offering investment advice today. We are talking about our own experiences and how you can potentially benefit from investing with us, but this is for educational purposes only. It's not an offer to sell securities. And we want you to consult with your CPA or financial advisor or legal team before making any investment decisions, because they can give you specifics on what will work for your specific situation, because everybody has different risk tolerances and financial situations. So We just want to be clear on that. But with that, we're going to hop into the financial reality for healthcare workers.
Yeah, so let's start with the facts. These numbers aren't just statistics, right? These are reality for a lot of our medical professionals. They start with their careers under a mountain of student loan debts. On average, I think a physician is somewhere over 200,000 just in education debt. A nurse, a BSN nurse, is right around 30,000. And just remember, this is just education debt. So what else does it take while you're going to school? There's more debt that's also there. So this kind of debt isn't a quick fix kind of debt. The surveys show that over half of the physicians expect that it takes about 6 years for them to pay off their loans, and about a third of them anticipate 10 years or more. Um, the loans can feel like a financial handcuff. I have families inside of the medical field, and it's one of those things that just kind of lingers and it just continues to grow, even though it's at a slower pace. It's just really tough for them to find ways to pay it down quick enough, and it becomes challenging. So before you can start growing your wealth, you have to address the debt burden and what's weighing you down.
Yeah, and I think even for me as being an engineer and going through college, having my first child and having to pay for a lot of things on my own, I ended up moving home, and before I even started working, I was $100,000 in debt. So I really feel this no matter what career you're in or what you're pursuing in life, you can still start investing even if you have debt. And it's actually kind of better that you still get money working for you. So another challenge is just a lot of times we start later on in life because while other people had started investing or saving because when they got out of college, they didn't have much debt. A lot of medical school people are still paying for their residency, doing years of trainings. And so a lot of times you start off later, and the years of education and residency often result in postponed wealth accumulation. So what that means is just you start later on, but the main thing is that you get started and you start looking at what options you have whenever you are advancing in your career, or if you get the next step up or next big paycheck or a bonus or something like that, making sure that of course you're paying off your debt, but you're also looking for other ways to invest your funds as well. And like we all know, burnout is real while you're trying to manage schooling, while you're doing your residency or training, and then also it comes to a point where you start a family as well, and now you're trying to balance all of that. We do understand that maybe investing might be on the back burner, but we just want to let you know the importance of not playing catch up, right? A lot of people don't even realize that, like here it says there's 100, if you are $100,000, if you have that at the age of 30, it could be worth, or you could accumulate up to $1 million at the age of 65 with 8% interest. So most people retire with much less than they need and end up, when they think, oh, I can retire at 65 or 67, they actually have to work way past that because they're not where they need to be financially in order to be able to retire. So there's a combination of getting a late start and having this heavy debt that can leave you kind of behind and having to work later. And so we want to help you start where you are and then structure that so it doesn't add more stress to your life.
Yep. So are you really on track? Here's what we see, right? High income earners, like the medical field, they assume they're on track because they have a really good paycheck now. They have a 401k. But when we start digging into the numbers, realize they're not diversified. Their accounts are weighed down by hidden fees. And that's something that's really huge to understand what those fees look like. If you have a 401k and you have hidden fees in there, 1 to 2% of that over 20 years is a third of your retirement. Like you're literally handing over a third of your retirement that you've been working for. So um, you're going to need to, you don't need to earn more. you need to have your money earn more for you. Your money needs to work for you. You're working hard out there. So we're investing with something like us with the fund comes in. It helps you as a high earner diversify past the stock market, past your 401k. And I'm not saying not to do those things. It's about diversifying and understanding where you are. Earning passive income without taking on the headache. And when I talk to people in the medical field, because I do all the time, it's always comes down to one thing. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to learn that. But that's where somebody like us within the fund, it's great, right? We help you by leveraging our team. We have all of us within our team, and our team is what, 5 of us. We do our deal sourcing for you. We manage the assets. And we protect the capital with smart strategies. We're very conservative. So your job is um, not to have you worry about it. It's to let your money work where you're focusing on everything else. Um, Looking at where you are in your life. So early in your career, 20s and 30s, you have the power of time. Power of time is on your side. You get to be more aggressive. If I'm being honest, when I was in the medical field, I don't recall any of the staff really talking about their retirements until they were in their 40s. So if you're in your mid 40s, it's not too late, but it's crunch time, right? You need to start doing things more aggressively with saving, smart fund choices, low fees. So you have to be aware, you have to be in the know. If I would have known this like in my 20s, I definitely would have been somewhere else. 65 and up. And I do see this because I do know a lot of medical professionals that don't get to retire until their late 60s and 70s. This is where it becomes really different for you. You have to shop smarter for income generating investments. Consider alternatives like an SDIRA that allows you to invest in things like real estate, private lending, and things like that. Roth conversions is still earning, and it helps reduce taxable income later. But the bottom line is understanding that your 401k isn't enough, understanding you need to be diversified, and how to build towards the life that you want. Like, you've spent so much time building your career, and I don't think people really give themselves enough credit and stop to think and invest in yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Understand what your 401k is doing. If you have your own practice or you're working and you're self-employed, go and get your own plan. Get an SDIRA or things like that you can be more flexible with, and um, find out where you can start earning more towards your retirement.
So the pros is that with working with Retoro Capital, and what makes us different than any type of other investment is, like Harmony mentioned, it's not a retirement fund where it's based on the market volatility. It's not based on the emotions of the public. But Retoro is, we invest in real estate, which is backed by a physical asset. So I think that's a huge difference and importance of any kind of other investment. And we understand that you don't need another job. Like Harmony mentioned, you need passive, predictable ways to grow your money while you work, while you go save lives, while you go make a difference in the world. And so for us, we target 10 to 12% annual returns. Like, this is huge because a lot of people don't realize, okay, in your retirement funds, you may hit 6 to 8%, depending, over the course of a really long time, 30, 40, 50 years. But with other avenues like your savings account, if you go and look in that, if it's in a standard regular savings account, it's probably earning 0.001%. If it's in a high yield savings, you're probably earning 3 to 4%. And if you are invested in stocks or crypto or other things on the side like that, it is very high volatility. You kind of, every day are kind of checking on it if you are aware of where your investments are going. And it can be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So for us, our fund was created to offer more passive cash flow. And how we protect your capital and our capital as well that we invest is we are first lien position on the properties that we invest in. So that means there's not another bank, another mortgage against the property that has first dibs. If anything were to happen on the project, we are the first ones that can foreclose on it and be able to get the funds back. And we also are listed on the insurance for the property. So that's another way where we can try to recuperate funds if it doesn't go as planned. And like I said, every investment is a risk, but there are ways to mitigate the risks as well. And we, majority of the time, work with in other borrowers that have previous experience that we've worked with before, that are known in the community and have a reputation, and so we know that they're in it for the long haul, and our, majority of the time our underwriting as well is very, very conservative. And so for us, we just want to focus on real estate backed loans and equity investments, have, considerably a little bit higher returns, but still be something that you're looking to invest in the long run and keep reinvesting your earnings. And we do it in a way that's completely hands off for you. You won't have to be fixing faucets or toilets and worry about tenant calls. I know there's people that think like, oh, I want to get into real estate and I want to buy a rental property and it'll be passive, but it's definitely, Harmony, is owning rental properties passive?
Not whatsoever. It is in the middle of the night calls, and any time of day, it's all of those calls. And even if it's the toilet's not flushing properly and it's really not an issue, it's just fixing the flap at that $10 task that becomes hours for you.
Yes, yeah. So if anybody owns rental properties, put it in the chat what your experience has been with owning rentals, because even if you have a property management company, you still have to manage that property management company, no matter if you own a single family home or you own multifamily, which we both do. So we know that you still have to manage the property management company. So I
Yep.
think with investing like this through a fund, you have experts like us or experienced investors that are handling all the day to day, that are handling all the communications back and forth, and you get to invest your funds, make good returns, and have something tangible that you can lean back onto if anything were to go, not as planned.
So, pros of investing with us is, of course, the predictable cash flow. But what our investors love is, like Zasha said, having the consistent returns with no landlord headaches, real tax advantages. And whether you're investing your SDIRA, your solo 1,4K or whatnot, it's just being comfortable to understand that I think this is the new sexy is the comfort, right? It's investing comfortably. It's being able to rely on a team that we don't just go out and look for investors to just come in here into the fund. This is something that we do as well. This is not just, oh, we want investors to come and do this. It's we want to build, grow, and build wealth ourselves. So we invest as well in all of our deals. Unless we have investors who tell us, can you pull your money out so I can put more of mine in? And we do have that as well. So there's a lot of pros with investing with us, taking away the headache. You can, with our debt deals, you can go in and say, I don't want to pick and choose anything. I want you to just do it. Send me the paper to sign. And we do have those investors, completely passive. And then we have those who are like, you know what? I want to look at these properties. I like to look at them. And they'll go in the portal and they pick and choose. And honestly, it doesn't take much for them to look at it. And then they sign off on it. On our equity deals, everybody has to look at those and sign it. But we do all of that heavy lifting for you with all of the due diligence and providing you with all of the facts. And like Zasha said, try to mitigate the risk as much as possible. And we have a personalized onboarding. You get to chat with one of us, probably myself or Lisa, and get to go through the whole process. We really want to couture this to where it's going to fit you. And not everybody is going to invest in our funds because it's made for everybody. We want to align with our investors, and we want to be that for our investors as well.
And I think this is a key difference if you invest in even like other investment vehicles, because you can invest with anyone, right? Put your money into the stocks or put your money into different retirement funds or even put your money into different real estate funds. But the difference between doing that and working with us is you're working with real people. And I feel like the more you are connected to your investments, the more you're going to pay attention and not be like me. When I had my 401k, I left my job and I just kind of left it there. I didn't even realize that I could roll it over. I thought it was like a savings account. I just leave it there. It's going to stay the same. Nothing's going to happen. Well, when I left my job in 2020, it was at like 107,000. And then in 2022, when I went full time into investing and I decided, hey, I want to start all these investors are investing from their retirement accounts. Like, how can I do that too? I remembered I had one, which is crazy that you forget that you have $100,000. But I forgot that I had one at my previous job. And I looked back into it and guess what the balance was? It was a little less than 80,000. So in 2 years of not paying attention to my retirement account, I basically lost 20 something thousand.
Well,
So
that's a
that
good.
was a huge wake up call for me.
Yeah, that's a good point that you just make, because you had it there and you thought it's like a savings account, right? You left it there and you thought it would continue to grow and do what you needed it to do. And that right there in itself is where we need to be more aware of what our 401k really is doing, understanding what it's investing in. You don't have to understand every single item, but understanding what those fees look like and how much it goes up and down. Because if you're going to put your 401k, which you should, right? You have your 401k and your employer's matching, and that's great. But what are the fees? Because if you would have gone and done it on your own and used it in an SDIRA to do or something else, and whether it's real estate or not, what is that going to look like comparing it? I mean, you spend a lot of time in your career building up to your career with education and school and all of that. I mean, I think if you really sit down and give yourself, honestly, probably a couple of hours and that's it, you're going to understand how much more you can grow your retirement and not be like that and think it was a savings account. I mean, I probably would have thought the same thing.
Yeah. And so with that, we want you to also know some of the, I wouldn't say cons, but some of the negatives or that some people perceive as, okay, this is why I might be a little bit hesitant. Okay, so first is your capital is typically illiquid for 1 to 5 years. So typically we ask that you have your funds stay within Ritoro for a certain amount of time, depending on the project. So we have debt deals that are as little from like 6 to 12 month projects. And then we have, longer term equity deals that are 3 to 5 years. So depending on what you invest in, your money has to stay in that project for however long it is. And so this could be viewed as like, oh no, I want something quicker where I can pull my money out. Well, your money actually makes more by being there longer. So that it's not a con to me, but for someone who is looking for something to put their money in like for 30 days, this is not that.
No, and
And
actually, when they come into the fund, they're committing to the full 2 years with their initial investment, but taking
yeah,
out the interest payments. That's something that they can roll over if they can decide that they want to see that when the return comes.
yeah. So we really want this to be for you to know that this is an investment. This isn't like, okay, I'm going to put my money in and take it out and put in and take it out. It's more illiquid, but not as long term as like a retirement, right? A lot of people invest in their retirement and they don't pull it out for 30, 40 years or whatever the case may be because they don't want to pay all the fees and penalties as well. So if you think about it, it's just, and not to say you shouldn't have another type of retirement fund, but this is another way to cash flow, another way that you can invest your money and have another stream of income potentially that you can lean on, and that's backed by real estate. Another thing is that for Ritoro Capital, you have to be an accredited investor. So this means that you have to have $1 million net worth or make 200,000 on your own or 300 with a spouse. So a lot of people said, "Oh, well, I don't think I'm an accredited investor." Well, I didn't even think I was either until I really sat down and looked at all of my debts, look at all of my assets, look at all of my income, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a millionaire." It's kind of crazy to say that, but when we're grinding so hard, we're just working so hard, taking care of our family, just one foot in front of the other, you'd be surprised on how much wealth you've accumulated over a short period of time. And especially in Hawaii, or people that are in high expensive states, you buy a house, it's $1 million. You have a second house, it's $1 million or more. So you never know what kind of assets you've accumulated over the course of time. And then also your income, right? If you combine yours and your spouse's income, maybe you only thought of yours, but not your spouse's. And then now you guys come together, you may be accredited. So there is opportunities for everyone, but for this specific fund, you have to be accredited.
Yep.
And like I mentioned, real estate carries some risk. It is secured by a physical asset, but like I said, like anything else, every investment is a risk. The house could burn down, something could be delayed, costs might be more than expected, might have to foreclose on the property. So there's all these other things that come into play, but we do our best to try to mitigate that by being conservative with our numbers, work with experienced borrowers, and also have our be in first lien position. Like I mentioned before, make sure the insurance, we're listed on the insurance for the property. And Harmony and our other partner, Lisa, are also realtors in Utah. And then also their husbands are general contractors as well. So we have a lot of the ways and means to be able to pivot if something does happen with the project.
Yep. Definitely.
And then the one thing as well is we are not FDIC insured, so we're not backed by the federal government, which you may see a lot of times when you go to banks. That said, we're transparent about the risk, and we're focused on protecting the capital first while mitigating as much as the risk as possible from the start.
Yeah. So we're going to do a comparison. And this, in all fairness, is the comparison of your traditional retirement with our fund on our debt side only. So our debt side, like she said, it's going to be 10 to 12% returns. And it just depends on how much you invest in each deal. And that can look different. You can earn 10% on one deal, 12% on another. Um, liquidity, 1 to 5 years. For us, our terms for our loans are 6 months. Like I said, when you come into the fund, it's a 2-year commitment for your initial investments, and then how your returns look if you wanted to get it back after every investment closes, or if you wanted to continue to roll it over until the very end, which we have a lot of our investors do mostly that, just because you're able to compound and earn higher. So if you're earning just the 10%, and you keep rolling it over, it's going to be more than the 10%. Same with the 12. So we prioritize, like Sasha said, safety with sitting in our first lien position on these debt deals. And we've done single family. We like to be comfortable within, 400,000, 800,000 range. And it is much comfortable. They move easier. This also goes where if something goes wrong, like she says, we can deal with the asset right away. Our goal is for everybody to be a win-win. So we're not going to go and underwrite a property that is going to have a high risk of not being able to perform the way that the borrower is saying it's going to. So we're very, very honest with them on that. And we'd like to lead with our integrity. We want to work with those who also do. Second, we try to make life easier at tax time. Like, you're going through a lot at tax time. Nobody enjoys it. So it's all consolidated into a K1 for you. That makes life much easier for your taxes. Third, the flexibility. If you want to be more hands-on and choose the deal, like I had said earlier, you can go in the portal and choose each deal as they come. You do get alerted of our deals. And it is a first come, first basis in the portal. So if you do your commit on there, your soft commit, we'll let you know when it's ready to fund. And then you get to fund it. And if you're the first one who chooses to do the whole deal, then you get to do that as well. The idea is to get you out there to be diverse and as comfortable and protected as possible. Every investing you do out there has risks, but like we keep saying, mitigating that risk is really big for us. And having that comfortable, steady returns, that's going to be huge.
Okay, so let's get into an example of a medical professional that uses their SDIRA, their retirement, to invest with us. So this is Vanessa. She's an RN, like many of you, and was earning about 7% in her retirement account. But by shifting that same 75,000 into the Retoro fund, making 10%, she saw a 43% improvement of her retirement balance without doing anything different, only just shifting it into our fund to the debt deals. So if you were to take that 75,000 and invest it in year one, you would make back your total back that you would make is 89,000. And then you chose to reinvest that same 89,000 back into the fund. Year two, you would make about 104,000, or the total funds that you would have potentially returned to you is 104,000. Year three, 121. So you see where we're going with this. Like you can make almost double your money in maybe, what would that be, like 5 or 6 years of that
Yeah,
75,000?
yeah. So this is definitely, and one of the benefits that we get to share with you later is our compound calculator and to see how that looks. And this is somebody who's investing $500 with a high income earner. And I mean, let's be real, 100,000 high income earner is not really considered high income earners in most places these days. However, this is investing $500 a month over time. So just imagine what you can do and compound that too. And it's like I said, it depends on what phase you are on in your journey. If you're in early, you get to be more aggressive, younger. And if you're in the middle, you get to sit a little bit more comfortably, but understand what you're doing, and you want to be smarter about it with the fees and everything. And then if you're older, you definitely want to sit down and plan it out and think of multiple avenues here. But this is just one way. If you still have your 401k with your employer, and you have now rolled over a part of that to an SDIRA and you were earning there, but then now you realize I can go and move some of that into a fund like Retoro. This is what you can start to earn. So you should be looking at diversifying and finding ways to invest it in multiple areas while you're, especially if your employer is matching it, the fees are not high. So something to just kind of think about. Okay, so we have a live offering. This is one of our deals here in Utah in Santa Quinn. You have the potential of earning the 10 to 12%. Like Zasha says, these are 6-month terms, and every now and then they will go over the 6 month. Utah has been a good market to us. If it does go over the 6 months, typically the borrower will start to then make interest only payments, so it doesn't catch up to them. We want it to be a win-win. We just don't want anybody to be carrying too much burden at any given time. So this is your chance to invest, and it's a ground up construction in Santa Quinn. It's secured by us being in a first lien position, and it's backed by both the land and new improvements. So the land was already owned free and clear by the borrower with no existing liens, and adding the extra layer of security for our investors. So we worked with this borrower on several projects before, and it's a pretty comfortable place to be for us.
So what can you do now? So now that you've stayed through this whole presentation, we're not saying you need to quit your job or make a huge life change like we did. We're actually saying to do the opposite, right? Keep your W 2, keep your job, keep saving lives because we need you. But start investing passively. Start putting your money to work. And the earlier you start, the more freedom you'll get down the line. And we put this together today to help you think and build more options, not to take more risks. So, um, for us, we want to help your money compound while you get to do your job. And we want to help you build a plan now, because I think what me, Harmony, and the rest of our team realize is that we don't want to stop working. I mean, Harmony knows me and Chris are freaking workaholics. So we'll always find something to do or, some part of the business to work on. But we want you to have more options and choices to choose to do what you love, or to choose to start that business, or to choose to go on another vacation, or be able to afford time off because you have this other stream of income coming in. And so our team together has a strong track record. We've been through investments all together in multifamily, in doing debt deals together. We've worked together as far as being a team goes. And a lot of us came from really professional backgrounds. I was an engineer. Chris was a CFO or CEO. Troy worked um,
Tech.
in the tech industry. So, and then Lisa was a financial analyst.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people with experience and in high level careers and professions that now do real estate full time, and we've become an expert and really experienced in this field, and we know how much it can benefit other people. And so we don't want you out there managing properties, doing flips. We want you guys to be focused on what's important, and we want to be there to help invest right alongside you.
Yep. So, like Sasha says, if this resonates with you, then definitely reach out. Scan our QR code. You'll want to get some time on our calendar. And even if it's just to say hello and network, because if you decide after you've talked to us that this isn't for you, we love to give everybody the freedom of choices and opportunities. So get on our calendar and let's see if we're a good fit for you. Most of our clients are just like you. They're very busy professionals who are smart and committed to the future, and they just need help building that next plan, that next journey level for them. They just need help building that. So here's your chance. Reach out to us, book a time on our calendar that works for you. We can do a 15-minute call to see if it's just going to even be a good fit, and you want to schedule something later to dig in deeper. The goal is to just help you understand what opportunities are out there, and you're not just letting it set it and forget it. You don't want to think like we did, you're just leaving it there and think it's going to grow for you. Your 401k definitely won't magically appear for you. And at the end, if you think about it, by the time we retire, we're not going to have Social Security. And they've been saying that for years, but I really feel like it's getting closer and closer to not being there. Your 401k, when we get off of this, go and look real quick and see what it's been doing for you. And then understanding what we just told you, how much more it can be doing for you. And if it's doing more than that, great. But look at it all to be diverse. So scan our QR code and just book a call with us. We'd be happy to chat.
Mahalo.
Thanks for joining us. See you
Thanks
on the
for
next one.
joining.